This is my workshop on how to do mind maps. First of all, a little bit of credibility. First, this is me, in case you don't see the resemblance. Hello, it's me. So, I'm a Mexican chemical engineer. I'm 23 years old. I'm currently doing my MIM. I'm a pinch pro thanks to my mind mapping abilities, which means that I sell my mind maps, but they are very personal. I have worked with a guy who's the CEO of Pinch, the app, the guy who is the CEO for Meter 8, and a guy who was here for 7 years, and he decided, like, I have an option of extending my OPT or going back home, but I don't know what to do. So one day we sat, we talked, I did a mind map for him, and he told me, you gave me a lot of things to think about, and I actually feel like I'm more prepared to make this decision. So in case that doesn't speak to you, I'm the girl of the notes. Well, why would you need to learn this? This works, yeah. Well, it helps you study, take better notes for your classes, to connect better the ideas that you have. It gives you the whole picture. Like every time you see a mind map that is complete, you see all the main ideas, all the main concepts displayed there. You can display a strategy. It helps you identify opportunity areas, drives team discussions. This is one of the best things that I've ever applied my mind maps to, because helps people to think, okay, that is already set, so we can move to other important things, and it develops ideas on the way. And it's very good for brainstorming. So this is an example. When I was starting with the Reduxia project, I did a mind map like huge in the whole meeting room, and like if you see, we have pictures, we have different colors, we have different directions, and which is basically what we will do today. My personal process. Usually mind maps are made with branches. I don't know if you have ever seen those. I don't like that. I feel like it's ugly, and I feel like the ideas are not well positioned. So it doesn't help you to see a concept completely. So simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication for me. I feel like the simple it is, the better. It's clear. So my guidelines are the title. First of all, like in that paper that you have there, the title have to be in the center, has to be in the center and big. For example, Boston, places to go. I'm gonna use this example like at least for some guidelines, so you know exactly how to use them. You have to pick a starting point and a direction. With this, I mean this. I usually start I don't know if you know, but in my mind maps, I usually start in that corner, and I start moving all the concepts, I start moving in this direction. Some people might like to do it on the center. I just pick that because I feel like it has more space for background or other stuff. For example, if I apply it to Boston, places to go, if you notice the title is in the center and bigger than the rest of the text, and the place number 1 would be D in here, and I will start moving in this direction. Then, the use of colors. I'm an engineer. I have no idea how to use colors, and Luisa can tell you that. But to avoid this stress, I usually use this order. I go red, then orange, then yellow, this way. For me, it's easier because I don't have to stress about, does this color is well here? It looks weird. No, okay. You just use the circle, the chromatic circle? Chromatic. Mm-hmm. Well, and also, I use colors to separate the ideas. It's very good for connecting the concepts and to identify the different sections. Then only main ideas. I think this is one of the most confusing parts when you do a mind map. Like a lot of people have told me, I have no idea how to say, okay, this is important and this shouldn't be here and this should be. It depends on your case. Like, for example, if you're doing a case analysis, and if you're starting to do this, I suggest you do the subtitles as sections. You know, it helps you to say, okay, there must be, I don't think in a case, in a subtitle, there's nothing valuable. It has to be something, at least one sentence. So it helps a lot. Try to read and think, how would you explain it to a friend as well? So when you try to explain something, in your mind, you're just taking the most important things. So if you read it and try to explain it, the things that you try to explain should be in your mind map. Well, in the example of Boston places to go, I would say that those would be the places that I could be able to reach by T, or are the places that I'm actually interested to go, you know, like that is my criteria, and that's why I would, for example, use the zoo, Boston Commons, Boston Public Market, North End, and Boston Public Library. If you see, I use colors to separate every single idea, and I connect the ideas as well. This is geographically, like if you go to the Boston Public Market and you cross the street, you reach North End. So that's why I put them like together, and these arrows tell me, okay, if I go to one, I can go to the other one and the other way around. Then another guideline is maximum 3 levels. It's not only because it's more confusing if you put more levels, it's because you can only fit 3 mostly in the pages, which means, I'm gonna give you an example, just every level should be very well identified. So you use, like, for example, a circle, like in here. Then the second level will be this one, you use a line. And then another level, you don't use anything. Those are the 3 levels that should go after the title. I think that if you do more, it's more confusing and you lose track. But if you want to do more, that's completely up to you. Add your comments. This is super important because this is the way you understand the topic. For example, I was reading an article at the beginning of the model and said, courage is key. Like, basically, the things in black are the important ones. And when I read it, the only thing that I could think about was, oh my God, it's a very high energy job. This is a comment, and your brain works this way. It's like your brain is Google, and instead of just typing anything, these kind of comments are the ones that you use as your search keywords. Your brain remembers these kind of connections unconsciously. So, for example, if I put it here, maybe I was talking with Paulina and she told me, you know what, I love the coffee that they sell at Thinking Cup. If you notice the comments, the arrow goes inside. The rest of the arrows go from the center and to the outside. The comments go inside. This is the way I identify them. Make it personal. This is again the same, like as if your brain was Google. If you use keywords and you use images, your brain will make these kind of connections, and you'll remember something very easily. I have an example, it's my favorite. It's Donald Trump. We were doing the pricing notes, and I remember very clearly, I didn't have to check my notes for this. I remember that we were talking about entering a new market internationally. So one of the guidelines was you have to put barriers so your competitors won't come in when you're starting. So I was thinking barriers and walls and Donald Trump, obviously. So Luisa helped me to draw Donald Trump in my notes, and it helped me remember this. When I was in the test, the only thing I was thinking is, oh my God, Donald Trump on the wall. Another example, Penguin updates. I was taking an SEO course, and Penguin updates are for Google to have safer results when they search. Like, I remember this not because I went back, but because the drawing made the connection in my brain. And I really encourage you to practice. This is not something that I did one day out of the blue. I remember that I started doing this because I was taking an organic chemistry class. So if you can put that in a mind map, you can put anything in a mind map. It seems confusing. So if you can organize that there, you can do anything. So you can try with something you know very well. I really encourage that you do something that you know very well about you, about your career, your goals, about a case study. This is something you will be able to go back and read again. About a panel you attend. I went with Marie Angel to a panel and it helped me a lot. And in your team meetings. If you try it when you're talking with someone, it's also easier because you know exactly when an idea finishes and another starts. You know? Um, Success is when your mind map, someone else comes, reads the mind map, and they don't need your help to actually figure what's in there. So practice. I have an exercise for all of you, like maybe we're like 5 people, but I think we can make this. I want you to think about a challenge that you have ever had in your life and how you overcame it. Can you do that for me? Do you know you have it in mind? Okay, since we are just like a few people, hi. Why don't we talk about it? Like, Luisa, do you know about a challenge that you have ever had?
Math.
Okay. Okay. But tell me, okay, and a specific situation.
Pricing.
Sales.
Marketing analytics. No, like the thing that like I had marketing analytics would be in the center of the mind map, right? Or pricing or sales, whatever. And then what you would take from there would be how I overcame it, which is reading your notes and reading the papers and trying to do the numbers on my own and figuring out the ideas in a way that I understood the ideas, not necessarily with the examples that he gave, but examples that I could actually relate to.
Okay. Maria Angel, now that you have heard how Luisa overcame this, what would you think about Luisa? Like, do you think she is a hard worker person or?
I display horses all the time. I display horses all the time.
She's not good with numbers, but yeah, she tries.
She tries.
She really tries to understand them.
Okay, then
Yes.
Laura, can you think about a challenge that you have ever had in your life? And you don't have to connect it with a mind map, like just tell me about a challenge. And then Andrea is gonna tell us what she thinks about you now that she heard your challenge and how you overcame it. We can totally switch if you're not ready.
Challenge. I think the biggest challenge was to switch from math school to business school.
And how you overcame that.
How I'm gonna overcome it?
How you overcame that.
Thinking about it, like pro and contra.
Okay, so Andrea, what do you
Very
think about that
simple.
process? Like, what do you think about Laura now that you know that she had the courage to switch from one career to another one out of the blue?
That you need to be really, like, you need to be brave to do that kind of things, and you need to have a thought process, like, from the very beginning, to actually understand and see what the results will be. And, I mean, but basically that, you need to see, like, in the future.
Okay, so now that you know this, everyone has a paper, and I would like us to do a personal mind map. I'm doing this exercise with you because personal mind maps are very tough. Like, we are very close to ourselves that we don't know how to introduce ourselves sometimes. So now that you know that, for example, Laura, Andrea thinks you're very brave. You are a brave person. Even when you're not that aware, like, it's very useful when someone comes and tells you, okay, you are, like, I think about you in this way. I think that Luisa is very, I don't know, she tries very hard, which is amazing. I think that Laura is very brave and she's very smart because she knew that probably in that career she wasn't gonna enjoy it. So this is something that could go on your personal mind map. Like, now that we have their papers, and if you wanna take my colors that are there. Some guidelines that I have for you are, where are you from? Because your background also defines you a little bit. What's your undergrad? What did you study before? Why are you here? Do you plan to do any internships, or did you do any freelance jobs before here? Do you have any hobbies? What do you like to do? Do you like to travel? Is there anything that guides your action, like Luisa? Luisa thinks that all her actions should be guided by the principle of being honest and being true to herself, so that is very important. Where do you see yourself in the future, and if you have ambitions? I don't know if you want to do this mind map. I have another one for time management, but I would suggest we do this. You're more familiar.
Okay.
So do you want to do that?
What,